Hi, welcome to Universal Interiors. I'm Leslie Engelstead, and today you are with me in the kitchen, and we get to make a new treat that I have not yet made, but it's got the best ingredients, chocolate and peanut butter. So I said, why not? So today that's what we're going to do to make up. It's a kind of like a cookie bar is what it is. So to begin with, we are going to start, which I did. There is a half a cup butter, and it can be just softened. I usually tend to do a little bit too much on the softening, but that's what we're going to go right now. So to start with, it's just kind of like making chocolate chip cookies. We're going to do what they call for a half a cup of brown sugar, so thereabouts. And I do actually go scant a little bit. I go a little less on my sugars. Ever since living in Colorado, I just do it because you can they still taste okay. But so now I'm going to do 1/2 brown, 1/2 white sugar. That's what I've pulled together so far. And then we're just going to stir that up like you would a chocolate chip cookie, okay? We'll just start blending that up. And this is something I do quite a bit when I make my cookies, that I just have little stages, which I'm sure all you good bakers out there do the same. And I want to challenge some of you, because you're like, oh, I don't do cookies. Bars, that's the trick. That's the way to go for sure. Because then you can keep it really simple, put it in one pan, cut them up, and you have them for a long time. So now here it is, butter, sugar, and I'm going to take 2 eggs. The recipe that you'll see Raina give you will say 1 egg and 1 just yolk. I choose to do both. And what I'm going to do is just kind of stir it in the pan. Please do what you feel comfortable with, but I just stir it off to the side, so I'm mixing that egg. So that's what I've got going on right here. You see that? I've done that a little bit. Now I'm going to make that egg and sugar and butter. So far that's the first stage that we've got going, okay? And then we've also got, since these are peanut butter cookies, guess what? We probably should put some peanut butter in there. And this recipe will call for 1/3. But I'm a big fan of peanut butter, so I might just cheat a little bit and give you 1/2. Now, this is for y'all. See there? That's about 1/4. And then you take 1 more scoop, and that would probably about fill this cup. See what I'm doing? Without dirtying my cup. So there we go. That is anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2 cup peanut butter. And we're going to mix that in right now. And of course, many of you that do bake have your blender. No, I'm sorry, it's a mixer. I, on the other hand, was raised out in the country, and we didn't go for those electric fancy parts. We just did it ourselves and kept ourselves in firm condition. Meanwhile, of course, there it is, pulling in the core. So see, I'm making just like you would a chocolate chip cookie, but I've given it some peanut butter in that mix, right? Okay, stir pretty creamy. We can set that aside. And now it tells us, forgive me, there it is. I'm gonna take out those sugars and all that business is done, and then I'll move over here. Now we're looking for the flour, okay? And it calls for 1.5 cups of flour. So we'll do just that. I'm one of these people that go into jars, and that's how I keep things fresh. So that's why you see in front of me the plethora of jars. So 1.5 is what it's calling for. There again, just about that, right? There's the 1, and there's the 1/2. So 1.5 cups of the all-purpose flour. Again, you can do and choose whatever kind of flour you want. I would encourage those that like wheat flour to blend in a little bit of unbleached, because that keeps things not quite so heavy. That's just a suggestion I will make. We take 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, okay? So we need to just get that much, my 3/4. I'm going to put it right on in there. Of course, you need some salt in most everything, just not too much. Recipe does call for 1/4 teaspoon, so that would make, picture it in your head. Whoop, maybe 1 little more. That would equal the 1/4. So I've got that mixing up in here. Flour, the baking soda, the salt, and then this is what else I really liked about this recipe, worth trying, is that it takes oatmeal. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 cup of oats. There gets to be 1/2, and there makes it the full cup. So I've done the flour, the soda, the salt, and the quick oats. Okay, that's basically just a little, I would probably blend just a wee bit inside here. Okay, So we got that going. So now that should hit the sugar, the eggs, the butter, and you sneak that right on in. And then we're just gonna blend that up. So far, so easy. Hope so, because I don't want to make things complicated for anybody. And I haven't heard yet that I have. So that's good, right? You can take a few simple ingredients and make people so happy. And a lot of people might, and they have told me, they don't really need to make things, not very many people at home anymore. But guess what? They freeze great. Or perhaps we can get in that old-fashioned idea of visiting down the street and bringing some to our neighbors. Because Raina and I, we'd be those neighbors and we would welcome those treats happily, I'll just say. So this, they say peanut butter or milk, and I got these great milk chocolate and peanut butter flavored chips. You can do whatever you want to here, but I think we'll put the whole thing in. Why wouldn't we? And on top of that, what I think we might do is sneak in just a wee bit more chocolate chips, okay? So you're doing a full bag. It might say a cup and a cup, a half and a half, but to me, chips. It's where it's at. It's kind of like that saying, you know, that they think meat. Well, in my world, and I can speak for my Raina girl too, we agree that chocolate and peanut butter better than meat.
It's what's for dinner.
It is what's going to be for dinner. And in between, perhaps. There we go. See, just mixing it doesn't take too much. Again, this is the workout that's super good for us because it gets a little thick. But now it can justify us eating probably 2 bars instead of just 1. Okay, I have a 13 by 9 and I just use a little fun spray. And that's what we're going to put this right on in. And again, these are the bars. See, we don't have to wait around and pull out the cookie sheet. We are just going to go right in there and pull the whole works. And we should have ourselves some treats for later. You can do a couple things with this too. You can go just chocolate, just peanut butter. You can add milk chocolate, which I thought about doing extra. Now I did semi-sweet, milk, and peanut butter. And at home, you guys would probably, I don't know if you'd have one of those things on hand, but it's a really neat thing. I just, every once in a while, do have them on hand, so I thought it would work perfect. So you can see I'm going to just spread that little love out. I've got the oven on at 350. And this particular recipe also had these little fun, helpful hints. And Raina will probably share those too, but just make sure you don't over bake. Sometimes we get a little bit nervous because we think the inside looks doughy, but that's okay. We can just do the edge trick. If I haven't shared that with you all, well, I am today. Your lucky day. When you make bars or cake, you can smell it in the air when it starts getting done, and a lot of times I'm sure people have it on timers. But what I do is you can really see if it starts to pull away just a little bit at the edge, that's your sign. Just a little bit. Even though the insides might look a little bit, they're going to finish. It does actually finish baking. So that is something to consider. When the edge starts pulling away a little light brown, that's when we're going to pull them out. But for now, they're going to go in the oven about 15 minutes, and we'll take a look in 15 minutes, see how we did. Okay, let's just see. It's about 15 minutes, just about. Oh yeah, here we go. See the little edges pulling away like that? That's what we're talking about. That's what we need to show. Now, the bonus. We just cut that up ever so quickly, and before we know it, we are going to have some on the plate. And this is Raina and my favorite time of the day, when we get to share our little treats. So there it is, chocolate peanut butter and a little bit more peanut butter, and then again a little bit more chocolate. All right, you go make it a great day and enjoy, but just keep the core in, remember? All right, take on the day, make somebody happy. Go share some of these bars. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye-bye.